perfect place to be for week 7. Fast Night Creek Farm. This is their cute little store where they're drying herbs and you can see all the local fresh fruits and veggies. I see a lot of squash because we're in fall now. Fantastic. On Monday, before we got started with our session on fruit and veggies and the power of phytonutrients, we had a talk about how life happens and how we should be less rigid with ourselves and more reasonable as we're forming this awesome health toolkit that we can use all throughout our life. Some of you felt disappointed that you hadn't gotten to a certain point and we were already at week 7, but I want to encourage you. These were some of the barriers or life happens moments that you mentioned to me. Children's games and activities. You've had a department overload where there's so much to do and you're working longer hours. And you've had someone at home that maybe isn't as supportive, your significant other or kiddos that are not willing to try some of your new foods or new recipes. Some of you faced moments of lapse where you just started eating everything in sight, almost binging. And I encourage you to realize that this is a program where we're focused on eating healthful but still enjoying foods that we love. So there's no good or bad foods. And I want to give you the definition of lapse because we chatted about that on week 3. Lapse is a small slip in your efforts. It's a natural part of this process of health change. It will not cause weight gain, but relapse, going back to old style of eating or being sedentary and not really caring about what we're feeding ourselves, that can cause drastic weight gain. What's the solution to a lapse and continual lapses? Well, remember, it's part of a lapse chain where if we hit it and we're prepared before that high-risk situation happens, we're more likely to be successful as we face those overwhelming moments. So what are fruits and veggies? Well, they're plant foods and they're high in vitamins and minerals and fiber and water and phytonutrients. Americans are eating less and less each year. We look at the NHANES data, which is a survey given to thousands of Americans to tell us what's our intake percentage of fruits and veggies. Well, we learned from that adolescents are getting less than 0.9% of the recommended amount they should be eating. Men, 2.2%. And women, you're getting 3.5% of your recommended amount of fruits and veggies. What's interesting is that evidence supports if we get fruits and veggies in lunch, we're more likely to meet our recommendation for the day. Typically, people aren't putting a lot of vegetables into their breakfast. Incorporating veggies into your omelet is an easy way to get veggies in the morning. If we skip our fruits and veggies at lunch, then we're having to make quite a bit of fruits and veggies at dinner. So it's always best to have a fruit or veggie with your lunch. Okay, I'm gonna go look for a carrot. They might be out of season though. Apples, turnips, I see quite a bit of squash, peppers, more squash, green beans, corn, more peppers, tomatoes, red potatoes, and sweet potatoes. I don't see a carrot, but I do want to point out by eating carrots, about a handful of carrots, we're getting 430% of our vitamin A for the day. That's hard to get in a vitamin. So I want you to be cautious about relying on your multivitamin for all of your vitamins and minerals. We know our fruits and veggies are absorbed better and synergistically work with the vitamins, the fiber, the water, the phytonutrients. If you're on the Just Right plan, you should be getting 3 servings of veggies each day. 1 serving of fruit is a medium fruit. If you're on the Greater Needs plans, men or someone who's exercising heavily, you should be getting 5 servings of veggies and 3 servings of fruit. Remembering again, it's 1 cup raw or half cup cooked with veggies and 1 medium fruit or 1 cup of fruit. Make sure you look at your meal planning guide. It will tell you exactly the amount if you're concerned about how you're counting a carb or a fruit. With all that serving information, truly, I just want you to eat your fruits and veggies. So however you can find a way, whether it's pureeing it and putting it into your foods or trying some new foods, getting to your local farm to select foods where you get to know the farmer and you're willing to try maybe just one. So you grab 1 sweet potato and you're gonna try a new recipe with just 1. So you're not buying in bulk and wasting food. Something else we talked about was the 100-calorie thought process. When we're thinking snack, sometimes we like to look at calories just to understand that our guideline is about 250 calories as a quality snack. But in class we looked at what 100 calories looks like. So we had a Kind bar that was about this size that was 100 calories. And that still would be a fine snack to have if you need something kind of sweet and crunchy. But we also looked at how much tomato we could have, or cucumber. And tomato, we could have 3 cups of tomato, 6 cups of cut up cucumber. So it's hard to overeat these fruits and veggies because they're so low in calories, but so full in nutrients. Let's talk about fiber now. I found this local apple here at Fast Night. There are 2 different kinds of fiber. There's the soluble and insoluble, which now have new terms: fermentable fiber and viscous fiber. Viscous is that fiber that we see highlighted for heart health. So when we eat this and the skin has this viscous fiber that forms a gel around the cholesterol and then it excretes through the body. That's going to lower our cholesterol, mainly LDL. Fiber is so extremely important to many processes, but when we're looking at weight management, it's our savior. It's hard to make it as we're losing weight because our body starts to notice and wants to put weight back on. It's a starvation mechanism. So it thinks that we're starving when we've lost weight. So it's important that you increase your fiber in your water so your body knows, hey, you're full at this point. What are the goals for fiber? Women should be shooting for 25 grams of fiber per day, and men it's 30 grams per day. I pulled some data on low carb diets, and what we've learned from low carb diets is they're typically low in fiber. So even seeing about 10 grams per day is a norm for those that are on a low carb plan. We can greatly reduce colon cancer if you will increase your fiber in fruit and vegetable form. Yes, there are other ways to take fiber, but this is one of the best because it comes with all the nutrients that we just chatted about and the phytonutrients, which are protective as well. Look at all this beautiful color. Phytonutrients. That's where all the color is. It's all the different phytonutrients. That's why it's important to eat a variety of colors, because each color does something a little bit different in our body. Phytonutrients protect us, just like they protect the plant when the plant is growing. They're antioxidants, which means they protect and regenerate certain nutrients for us. Some of these phytonutrients have even been found to deactivate cancer. That's why when we look at how to reduce cancer prevalence, fruit and vegetables have to be part of that conversation. What else has research told us about fruit and veggie intake? Fruit and veggies lower blood pressure, reduce heart disease, protect against cancer, lower type 2 diabetes risk, lower bone loss, and lower your kilocalorie intake, which means that could be helpful for weight management, and satiety. We can't leave this conversation about fruit and veggies and farmers without talking about organic, residues, and biotechnology. All of the pesticides and insecticides that are used on fruits and veggies in conventional farming are regulated. The chemical that's being used in conventional farming is 100 to 1,000 times less than the amount that would pose threat to our health. If you're trying to limit your residue on your fruits and veggies, I suggest you use a veggie scrub brush. You don't need soap or cleaner that's made for fruits and veggies, you just need a scrub brush. I would even scrub the outside of your melon before you're going to cut it open. That will get off most of the residue that would have been used in conventional farming. If you're eating cabbage or romaine or a lettuce that has an outside layer, remove that outside layer before you eat it. Maybe some of you are thinking, I buy organic, I can just eat mine. Well, they still can use pesticide. It's just a natural pesticide, something that can be found in nature. So there might be an abundance of that on the outside of your fruit or veggie. Make sure you're still washing your organic fruit and veggies. The definition of organic is farming with no non-organic fertilizers or pesticides, no antibiotics, no hormones, and no GMO. So even though they put a GMO label on some of your fruit or vegetable stickers, if it's organic, then it wouldn't be GMO. Organic standards are set by USDA, and the farm must follow those standards for 3 years before it can be certified. What's biotechnology? It's just systems that are used to improve the quality or the amount of the food product. GMO would be biotechnology. So if we think way back when there was selective breeding, they would take 2 trees and they would graft them together, and that changed the genetics of the tree to maybe make it more durable, more beautiful, produce more. They've now progressed where we can take one gene and we can modify that and place another fruit or vegetable like a pea plant into a rice gene, and we can increase the protein of that rice. At this point, there's no evidence that this hurts our health at all. If you're concerned about organic food versus conventional food, then I would suggest you can buy more organic more often if it's reasonable for your budget. But again, you have other practices to remove the residues. Next steps include trialing your strength training program, remain tracking, and allow boredom to be okay as you form a new habit. I also chatted with some of you about becoming your own advocate and self-advocating, because if you are facing challenges at work or home with some of the changes that you're hoping to make or the time you hope to find, you might have to self-advocate and speak up for yourself. Our mantras for this week: when I visualize eating to nourish my cells, I begin to see the true purpose of food. I will learn how to make some super simple meals that take minutes and taste delicious. And when I begin to feel hot, nervous, or anxious, I will remove myself from the situation for a minute, close my eyes, and breathe deeply. Have a great rest of your week 7, and I'll see you at week 8.